Well, I'm delighted to be here, Karen. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
It's really great to be here. Get
oh,
off the bench. Yeah, I'm sitting on a breakfast bench at the moment, so
well,
that's where I am
well, for
in
now,
Ireland.
can you stay on the bench in Ireland in your
Yeah,
breakfast bench?
I don't know if you want me to sit on the bench or get off the bench.
I know it's totally confusing. So you're in
Yeah.
Ireland at the moment. So we're just talking about, if anyone's watching this on video, I've got a kind of a haze around me because it's dark here. So I've got my studio lights set up with a whiteboard in front of me and trying to reflect it back. And Karina looks absolutely stunning, and I look like a ghost in the night. But it's
Ah.
yeah.
You're lovely. You're lovely. It's early morning, and I suppose I'm having my first coffee of the day. It's not
Oh,
too early. It's grand. It's 10 a.m. So we're grand. So I've had enough time to put my face on, and I'm here with you, and it's lovely to be here with you and all your guests. So thank you for having me.
it's my pleasure. Whereabouts in Ireland are you?
I'm in Dublin,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
in in Dublin City. So yeah, the capital here. So I'm here, and it's a sunny day for a change, which is nice because
Yeah,
Ireland's renowned for a lot of rain.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so it's a sunny day, and the day is just begun. So yeah, just it's great to be here. Great to start the day with you and
Yeah,
all your
oh,
guests.
fantastic. Yeah. Not everyone,
Yeah.
not everyone gets to start the day with me. So,
No, it's wonderful.
and I'm wrapping up my
And
day with you. That's awesome. Now,
brilliant.
I wanted to get you on because to be honest, you're doing that many things. I don't even understand what you're doing because it's just like
Yeah.
one thing after the other that is just fabulous with what you do, trying to make a better world, and particularly for young people. So I'm going to get you to explain all that because it's like I don't even know where you find all the energy because it just seems to be like you've got that many fingers in that many pies,
Yeah.
but they're all fabulous. So you're the founder and the CEO of Aunua Global Enterprise, and you're an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, humanitarian, and youth advocate. Now they're just your heading words, but there's about 1,000 other words that
Oh.
uh, go with it. But I mentioned Aunua, and I had to ask you before we started how to say that because it's spelled Aunua. It's one of those. What do you call those words that have got the same letters on at the back and at the
Yes.
what?
Yes. Oh, do you know what will come to me? There is a word for it. I
Yeah,
know
I
there's a
can't
word
think
for it.
of
I
it
know
either.
exactly what you're saying. Or you can read it back both ways and it'll come to me. But yeah, I know it's a really cool word. And it actually, I suppose the story behind it comes from Anua is an Irish play on words for anew.
Yeah,
And when I set out with the Anua initially, I'd had a career break for 9 years with my own two children, and had to come back out into the daunting world of
yeah,
reality, when you're in that bubble. And it was
yeah.
like reinventing myself. And I guess I was looking for a new me at the time.
Mm,
And I really searched for the right word because I initially, I thought, okay, what do we all need? And Anua came to mind when I started doing some investigating and looking, searching for
yeah,
the right
yeah,
name. And it made sense. And Anua has been my third baby. And it's something I'm so passionate about. And I suppose I started back in 2017 initially with a personal development program for
yeah,
women because I realized that, I needed to find myself and find my way back because I think so many women that do make a lot of sacrifices. And if you're,
yeah,
I feel blessed that I had those 9 years with my two children. I was able to do that. But there's a lot of things that come with that, when you
mm,
do go back out and the reality of the working environment and going back out into the world. I was always very entrepreneurial in the
yeah,
past, but I suppose it was I had to reinvent and look for ways back. So I knew that, I couldn't do it alone. I needed to build a team. And I thought, well, how am I going to do this? And a
yeah,
personal development program was the way that I realized that we could do it. So we all need to find self-belief. We all need to
mm,
be aware of the changes that we need to make, that if we're going to make those
yeah,
changes in our lives, we all need to look at the holistic approach and how we look after our well-being.
yeah,
And then it was just like came into a whole formation of a program. And I reached out to different various women and built a team, and we all created a program where everybody got involved. And at the time back then, I thought, I needed to have somebody to tell the hook for the whole story. And I realized, I said, I didn't think I had a story. And this is the quite extraordinary thing. I didn't think I had a story. And the truth is, I always had, but I just wasn't ready to share it. And I suppose working with these women and bringing in a life coach, an amazing lady, had a fantastic story. And we worked, like, she inspired 140 people when we launched in a hotel here in Ireland. And we ran out a 4-week program. And it was phenomenal. It was like the Oprah Winfrey show or something the first night, because, it was phenomenal, because it was so many women that came to this event. And when we launched Aunua initially as this program for women, it was like, because Emer, I was working with, and who's sharing her story on how she had 4 children of her own. She had a difficulty. She was an alcoholic, and she had lots of different things that had happened in her life, and how she pulled herself back, and she became a life coach, and how she it's so inspiring. But for someone to share their story and be so vulnerable and be able to share their experience just really opens other people up to being able to share their stories too. It just enables that. So it was incredible. So many at the time that were there that evening opened up and talked about their experiences. And it really was the most amazing, phenomenal experience I ever had. And I even think back so many times on that initial journey. So that's where we all started. And
wow.
I suppose, which was phenomenal. But I think then what really happened over the months and the weeks and everything that had thereafter, certain things happened in my life. And one particular story was a good friend of mine, her son was struggling with severe he was struggling with the severe mental health difficulties at the time, where he was 11 years old, and he was self-harming, and he didn't want to live. And I suppose it really, it's sick. It just really scared me to think that was like, because I was in my own bubble for so long, my own children, realized the reality of what's happening out there. So many kids are facing such a lot of difficulties, and as young as 11, for a child to feel that they don't want to be here, really kind of ignited something in me that I realized I'm going the wrong way. I need to start creating something for kids. I need to do something, change my direction, and I know I've done it before with women, and I know I can do it again for children. So I decided, what do I need to do, and who do I need to get involved? And I myself personally, I know from my own experience, I left school early. I certainly had experience in the educational system or in mental health, but I knew that there's so many people I could reach out to, and I had to be willing to use my own voice, in other words, to give them a voice, these children. And I created a program called ROAR, which is an acronym for recognition, recognizing your greatness, opening up your self-awareness, acceptance in yourself and the differences that everybody brings. And it's about reconnecting with the world around you. And then I literally started this program in schools with amazing different professional experts, different people, created an online program, took on a radio show. I knew nothing about radio, but I literally gave myself a target and said, okay, I have 1 year to do this. I was running on, literally, my own free time, putting every effort into trying creating something. But here I am many years later, and everything's evolved. But that's initially, it was a case that, I just realized the problem. And I thought, well, how quickly can we grow have a program that's going to be able to reach as many children as possible? So we needed to bring it online. And I suppose I realized the technology was going to enable us to be able to do that. And I know you said at the beginning, there's a lot in there. So everything's evolved. I think, so many things have evolved since then, but that's the early stages, and my inspiration for, my own journey and women, and the importance of empowering them. And then it's about empowering children. I suppose changing the narrative, because we're hearing so much about, you know, the mental health and the importance of everybody has difficulties in their life. And I know so many feel very uncertain about the future. And I think that it's really important to start shifting the narrative and looking at ways that we can provide and instill and encourage young people and children to have a sense of purpose,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
see the value that they all hold. And that's where I'm at now. Yeah.
That is fascinating. And I want to go back. I want to go back to ask you a couple of questions on that before we go forward. But
Yeah.
I agree with you, and that's why I wrote Magnificent Kids when I did that in 2014. And that was exactly the same thing. I wanted kids to have a voice, and I wanted us to see. I wanted the world to see that we're telling kids they can't based on our own adult expectations and our own adult limitations, and kids just don't have that same can'tness. You know, kids are kind of like, well, this is what I want to do, and we're like, oh, no, don't go. You know, you can't do that. Wait till you're an adult. And then you wait till they're an adult, and then by that time they don't believe in themselves anyway, so what's the point, you know? But so
Yeah. Yeah.
I completely agree with you. And you know, you and I'll get to this too, but you and I are working with a lot of young people around the world, and I think that we need to recognize that they are our future. You know, and they need our support, not our criticism. And you know, we have to raise them up. But I want to go back, because you said, you know, you gave yourself a year to do it. Now, so you've come out of 9 years out of work with two kids. Now, I want to sort of really nut this out, because I know a lot of people would have gone, um, you know, well, 9 years with kids, you start to not believe in yourself. There's a lot of self-doubt going on there, because you haven't had the regularity of being in the workforce and practicing skills and all that. But then most people will go out and they'll find a part-time job, or they'll find an easy job, or they'll find a job that they believe they can succeed at, you know, to get back into the workforce. And you say you give yourself a year, but you kind of took on one of the hardest things, and that was kind of believing in yourself and sort of creating something out of nowhere and hoping it would take off. How where does
Yeah.
that kind of grit come from? Because I think we've all got the capacity to do that, and we've all got, you know, but we don't believe we have. And so,
Yeah.
oh, if there's something you can say that inspires people to go far out, I think I can do that.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I suppose just going back to a memory I had when I was raising my children, and I was looking at, you know, how am I going to start again? How am I going to, you know, how, because you know, you do condition yourself a lot of the time, and
Mm,
you lose a lot of self-belief and self-doubt, and all those things
mm,
come in, can take over. But I remember standing in my kitchen one day, and I had this overwhelming sort of thought, because I asked myself the question, when a lot of things in my life were kind of felt like they were falling apart, and in certain aspects, marriage and a few things weren't so good. And I remember thinking, what would I do if I had one wish to do it? What could I
mm,
create for myself? What could I do? And I remember I had this vision, and I had a really overwhelming feeling that, you know, if I had any wish, I'd want to work with children and young people, and I'd want to
mm.
set up a charity, and I'd want to be able to make an impact, to make a difference.
Yeah.
And that really kind of became a real thought for a few minutes. And then I shook my head. I thought, listen, these things don't happen to people like me. How could I ever do that? I hadn't got the money, you know, I hadn't got the credentials, I hadn't got any of these things. And I realized that, you know, reality is that I'm not going to be able to do that. So, but when I actually did the personal development program for women, and I started to learn a lot about myself and my own capabilities, and I gave myself 5 months to pull this together, and ended up launching with 140 people, the Lord Mayor of Dublin,
Yeah.
incredible, amazing people, and a team of amazing women and people that got involved. And it really, you know, it actually went out a lot of men came back and said they want to be part of this too. So a
Yeah.
lot of great feminists supporting women. And it just really got me thinking that, you know, the capabilities of what we're capable of that's all there. Like, no, I got really, like, I'm just like, you know, there, I don't know, if you have a dream, you have an ambition, you have something, I know it takes a lot because there's a lot of sacrifices you do have to make, and there has been. But when I basically, I remember at the time thinking that 1 year was a timeline that I had kind of set in motion. But when you're so involved in something, you're so passionate about something, there's no turning back. I did take some part-time work on. I worked as an advocate for youth at one stage, and I did some work there. But this really took a grip on me with Aunua and everything I ever did. So my life became, it's like my third baby. I was raising this baby, and I always wanted to create this platform, this free and accessible way for children and young people to be able to be inspired to make a difference and be able to change their lives and be able to instill the importance of having a purpose. Because I know myself in my, my 40s, my mid 40s, actually discovering my purpose made a huge difference to me. And if we have a purpose in life, it changes everything, and perhaps so much emphasis on all the materialistic things in life are not, where we should be. If we have a good lifestyle and we have, like, we can manage, but if you have a purpose, and that's why I work with so many incredible volunteers who are the heart and soul of Aunua, and everything you see with Aunua has been because so many people have got involved, over the years, have come and gone, have left their carbon footprint, they have created all that you see. So I'm certainly not alone. I've never felt alone. I feel that, and I'm inspired by the children out there. And we know these little children, like some of them are so young, and they see the problems, and they are facing the uncertainty of the future. And yet we and our generation have made a mess of our planet, our world, and what our conditioned ways of living and being, and we've got to start kind of making way and making room and start really giving these kids the opportunity to be able to amplify their voices. And it's going to take us really to help them, to give them the, elevate them to that level of that they can actually do that. So on my mission and my heart and my soul is completely driven by, and inspired by what I see, what I hear. There's so much that needs to be done out there, and there's so much suffering and pain. And when I see developing countries and Western world kids and young people have got issues and problems and different things going on that are very different than developing countries, but we've got to start shifting the mindset of how we're doing things and how we're instilling values and kindness and compassionate leadership in children. And really it's about elevating, or I suppose, changing the way we actually do things. And it's about kind of, shifting the whole focus, and women as well. Like women, I think really it's important that I was at an event recently where, it was about how, how much support we can give women and how they can help make an impact. And I suppose that, this is the direction we need to start changing the way things are being done, and looking at, the opportunities and potential that we can actually, if we're willing to keep our minds open and our hearts open. And I'm waffling on now.
No,
but anyway, but I think really, I suppose there's a lot of problems out there. And I think if we could connect the Western world of children with opportunities to help developing countries, I think that we could make, we could really instill certain values in these young people, that they realize that we've got to stop looking inwardly, looking outwardly, and as a global citizen for change, that's where they really can step into their strength and realize that the importance and the value that they do have in this world, because they're the type of leaders we need to encourage that in young people today. So
absolutely.
So important.
Well, that wasn't waffling on. That was very, very important information. But I just love all of it. Going right back to when you said you're standing in the kitchen, and you're talking about purpose and that kind of thing. We are really driven when we know what our purpose is. And some people think our purpose is, my purpose is to be a teacher, my purpose is to be a photographer, my purpose is, I don't believe any of that. Our purpose is to make an impact, or to, make a difference, or to whatever we want to do. But we can use any vehicle to get there. And some people get stuck about the vehicle. Which vehicle should I use to get there? But when you were standing in the kitchen and you're saying, I know I want, so you're vague. I know I want to work with young people. I know I want to make a difference, and I know I want to make an impact. and I know I want to have a charity. And then you say, well, but not people like me. Do you know, I'm the one that does it. But I really reckon this is the difference, is that when we say out loud what we want to do, and when we make that decision, even if we don't know how it's going to happen, call it woo-woo. I don't give a toss what people call it. But once I reckon once you say it out loud and it goes out into the universe
Absolutely.
conspires to make it happen. And I've got this great saying that I use. It's called my ABC principle. And I say, I'm here, eh? This is where I am.
Yeah.
And this is what I see. So that's the C. This is my vision. And in the middle, I say, let it be. Like, let the universe sort of get that together for you. But in the same time, in the be active, be opportunistic, be aware, be active, I might have said that twice. Do you know what I mean? But be whatever you need to be responsible, be moving, be all that kind of stuff. And if we continue just to do our be thing and let the rest of it be, so the universe can figure it all out and sort of send us on
Yeah,
our way. And I think
I
that
totally agree.
takes a lot of faith, though, to or whatever it is. It
Yeah.
takes a lot of faith to have that faith. Do you know that? Like, that's a really, I,
Yeah,
I
I
understand.
totally, I love that. You're so right. I meant to come back to that because I really, I think that that's exactly it. I think when you think it, you feel it, you connect with it,
Yeah,
and you realize that, gosh, you really do, you can imagine that, and you actually can visualize that that could be the case. I think, and once you say it out loud, as you said, I definitely know that I put something out into the universe that made that
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
And I'm not like, I'm not like a very religious person or anything else. I'm not whatever, but
No,
I'm very, and it's spiritual, but I've become very much more spiritual and realizing that the power of what we can put out there. Because I don't know about you, but at times I meet the right people just at the right
yeah,
time.
yeah,
And the people I've met have been incredible, like so many amazing people. And, even my own, like it's amazing what we learned from different experiences. So,
mm,
some people might ask, it's like, it has taken me a while to get to this point, but what's been created and what's been done and the impact and the ripple of it. And it's actually, it's gone beyond what I ever imagined Aunua could ever be.
yeah.
And it's got to be so much more, but it's not about me. It's not about anyone in particular. It's
That's
about
the key.
about everybody. And once you have that's the thing. And once once it's about what you can put out there, it's like offering support, help, everything
Mm,
comes back. And like
yeah,
in other ways, like, I'm so fulfilled in my life and happy. And I'm blessed to have two amazing children who are just fantastic. And I suppose those things that you learn and those values that you carry and the things that
yeah,
you're learning from everybody is a teacher in life. We've
yeah,
got the opportunity to, share a smile, share some support, share a conversation,
yeah,
say something positive, making a difference in somebody's life by doing something small each
yeah,
day. All those things create a
yeah.
ripple, a wave of impact around, in people's lives. And that's so
Absolutely.
important,
Yep.
but it's,
Absolute.
mm,
Absolutely. I think that
yeah.
you said something there that was really uh, now I've bloody forgotten what it was. It was something. No, no, no. It was really important that. Oh, I know what it was. It's that as you were speaking, I was thinking, yes, because you said, because I meet the right people, and it's
Yeah.
that's because you're in your flow, and that's because
Yes.
you think you're serving beyond yourself, and I wish we could all understand this, that when we're operating beyond ourselves, for something much greater than us, and we feel aligned to it, we are in our flow. Like, everything does happen at the right reasons. It's just
Yes. Yeah.
it's wonderful. And you
The
said,
universe provides. Yeah.
Absolutely, it does. And the other thing you said too was, you said, we were talking about you saying it, and you put in there, and you kind of brushed over it, and I felt it, and that's the key, because we say it and we can imagine it, and you talked about that as well. We can actually literally see it and think it, But the difference is, and this is going to sound woo-woo to some people, I don't give a toss. It's when we feel it is when we're in the energy. It's when we're in that stream of flow. And when once we
Yes.
feel it, it has to happen. Like once we feel like we're already living it, it has to happen. Like it's going to happen
Yeah.
whether we want it to or not. So if we're going to feel grumpy and shitty and feel and being miserable, that's
Yeah.
coming. That's coming.
Yeah, yeah, it is absolutely, and it's about shifting, I suppose, the
Yeah,
way we see things. And I think that really, I suppose there's certain people in our lives that we all know gives us a good energy, gives us a
yeah,
good that makes us feel good. Like
yeah.
I think back to something as simple as I remember when, I suppose when I was going through, when I was at home for those 9 years, I was coming to the stage where I knew I had to go back out into the working world and do
Mm.
something. My little boy started school at 5 and my daughter was 9 and she was in school. And I suppose he's starting school and I realized, you know, I lost quite a bit of, I thought I'd lost a lot about myself. I suppose for a long time, because I conditioned myself to thinking that I wasn't very good at, I wasn't very academic. I wasn't very good
Mm.
in school. I left school early, all these different things. And I remember I had a conversation with two of my really good friends, and they said, "My God, Karina, some of the things you come out with, you could be a politician." And I was like, "Oh my God." And it's so bad. I was like, "Oh my God, do people think I'm actually good at articulating conversation and be able to, I thought, well, is that really what you think?" That was amazing what somebody else thought. And I suppose it just takes little people saying little things, saying things to kind of make you realize, "God, maybe I am into that, whatever." But one thing I will say as well is that society and in education and that the environment that our children are in right now, the tendency for that is it just
Yeah,
conditions, and that's what it's about. It's like, I really saddens me that, everything else in the world is evolving, and yet we've got an opportunity to educate our children in a classroom, and yet we're,
squandering it.
conditioning to,
Yeah,
absolutely, it's such a missed opportunity.
yeah,
So many children are struggling, and that they don't know what the world, and we
yeah.
really don't know what's facing us now at the moment. There's such a lot of uncertainty, and I
Mm.
think that, wouldn't it be amazing if we could teach them amazing fun things and ways for them to learn about things like philanthropy,
Yeah,
about the
yeah,
world at large, about kindness, about the importance of kind leadership, about compassion, about understanding, about communication, how to get involved with activities that are
yeah,
fun and engaging communities. Well, here we're going through a system of children that they're conditioned to
yep,
not to be critical thinker, the
yeah,
critical thinking and the whole of the fun and laughter and the enjoyment of learning.
yeah,
That should be the time that we're doing it, and not, really have a problem with the system the way we're doing things at the moment.
yeah,
We've got to change it. We know that everything's evolving at a
yeah,
fast pace. AI is the reality, is that
yeah,
all that they're learning is regurgitated. They're not able to be creative in their thinking and
mm,
allowed to be that way,
yeah,
because we know that, they're going to be learning, and the real world is going to, we don't know what's out there, and jobs are going to be available. So they've got to be critical thinkers. They've got to start being,
yeah,
allowed and enabled and empowered and, encouraged to learn
yeah.
and be able to adapt to a world that is continuing to be is continuing to change all the time.
Mm,
So
yeah.
I'm really passionate about that. If I had one wish, I would change the curriculum.
I was just going to
I don't,
say, I was
I
going
would
to say,
change.
when
Yeah.
are you starting your own school?
You know what? Absolutely, I would love that. I think that if I had the opportunity to do that, what's on my really the top of my wish list, is
Yeah,
to actually have a school where we can create a curriculum that's going to be able to be scaled, and be able to scale it out, because I think
yeah.
really we need to start looking. I think all the government officials all around the world, all these governments and
Mm,
the countries and all around the world, everybody, that there's I think that there's a really amazing it's called the Good Country, and it's the Good Country Index, and it measures all the countries around the world that are doing the
wow.
goodest work, and it's really
Yeah.
fascinating.
Wow.
And it's fascinating. So, and really, I think what's happened here is with the Good Country Index, it measures all the countries that do the most for GTBR, giving back into the world, helping, other countries around the world, charitable work, humanitarian work. And back in 2000, and gosh, what year is it? 2019, I think it was. Ireland ranked the top of the world as the
Wow.
goodest. And I
Yeah.
remember Simon Anholt did a talk, and his TED talk was phenomenal. He's the founder of this. And basically, because he's worked with government officials around the world. And
Mm,
I thought to myself, really, there is countries that have got it right with education. There
mm,
is certain
mm.
countries, and I think that, if we could just look and approach things in a different way, we had the right curriculum. I
Yeah.
think that, there must be ways of getting, out there and saying, okay, if we
Yeah.
did things differently, we've a long way to go, but we could start small.
Yeah.
You and I, we could look at all the different opportunities. We work with young people, and we can
Yeah.
see that there's all sorts of different type of youth-led programs
Yeah. Yeah.
that could be put into real practice, and all sorts of different scalable activities could be created. But yeah, there's a lot we can do. But yeah, that's the plan anyway.
No, I think it's a great plan. I've had this idea that it'll probably never happen, and it's not because I don't think I can, but it's just I can't fit it. But it's I always thought about, and by the way, and I'm not a small community person. I'm a global person. Does that make? And that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
criticize. That's just saying that's my place. It's not,
yes,
and I would feel stuck if I was doing something in a small place. But I've always had this idea of getting doing homeschooling, and having the kids
yeah,
sort of running classes for homeschooling, having the kids volunteering, playing as a team sport, like helping each other, selling eggs, whatever they have to do, you know what I mean, to learn business
yeah,
skills, to learn how to work
yes.
together, learn how to communicate together, to learn to be part of a team, to learn the value of volunteering, to learn goodwill. So that's been something that it keeps coming back every now and then. I think, no, God, then I'd be stuck in this town, and I don't want to be
A
doing that.
global classroom, a global classroom.
Yeah, it
I
might have
love
to
it.
be,
Yeah,
it might have to be online, but it's
yeah,
it's when you're talking about young people, you and I both work with Presidio Singh. Now, Presidio is
yes.
you and I are green pillar experts, whatever that means. I don't know the expert label, I'm not sure about, but I'm sure we are because she's got us on board. But
Oh,
she's the founder of the Presidio Forest and the Green Pillar and that. And I've had her on the podcast, and she's 11 now. But my God, I've never seen a 6 foot tall 11-year-old. But she is massive, and she is brilliant, and she's so bossy. I absolutely love her. She growled at me one day because she wanted me to do a paper on something. I said, I just don't have time. No, I need it. I need it on Sunday. And so there's no excuse. But Presidio is absolutely brilliant, and she's started both these things. But even just going back to Presidio Forest, and she's decided when she was, I don't know, 9 or something, or not, it was younger than that,
I
when she
think
was
she was six.
4.
She
Yeah,
was
yeah,
six,
she
I
was
think.
6.
Yeah,
And she just
unbelievable. Yeah,
I know, and she had this affiliation with the earth and started just planting trees. And she's now mobilized it all through, well, her part of India, and and she's is
yeah.
through
Oh,
Tamil Nadu, or I think she is,
yeah.
and she's planted over 1,000 mini
Hundred,
forests.
100. Oh, yes, yeah.
Yes,
1,000 mini forests and
yeah,
over 100,000 trees
yep,
is phenomenal. Like,
yep,
it's such an amazing thing, isn't it?
yep,
Yeah, as you said, it's so exciting to see her journey unfold and all that she's been able to do. And you're right, she's 11. And like, if you have a conversation with her, she's in control of everything.
yes,
She's just unbelievable. And like, this is amazing. But could you
yeah,
imagine kids learning about climate change
yeah,
from the Green Pillar?
yeah, yeah,
Educational program. Why would they want to listen to us? Like, I know David Attenborough is an exception because he's phenomenal, but
yeah,
like there's so many that don't, they children want to learn from their peers, and
yeah,
they want to see what's possible. If a 11-year-old is capable of creating a whole foundation and an organization like this.
Yep.
And this is in India, and she's had, I'm sure, certain challenges, but she's had a great support because they see the importance. Because at the end of the day, climate change is it's affecting everybody, and it's just escalating more and more. But I think she really connects. She's a not Mother Earth. She's our little ray of sunshine. Not, she's like she is like Mother Earth, but she's a little Mother Earth. But she's, I suppose, all the different, between the environment, the earth, and animals, and all those things that children want to preserve and protect and love, and all that love and compassion she has for the whole, to try and make a difference, is so inspiring. And like, really, that program should be everywhere. Like, really, it should be. I think that it's just so important. And I'm really and you and I are just it's a great honor to be part of her team in that respect, and I know that we're going to do all we can to get the word out there and get more kids doing this, because we need to obviously to look at every aspect of climate change and how our next generation are going to be able to be those change makers.
Absolutely.
So
and when we think about a kid, like we can say, which is not true, but we can say they don't have the experience, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the years, they don't have the education. We can say all those things, but a 2-year-old can plant a tree. Do you like that? That is not a hard thing. And so, and by the way, Prasidi's intellect, she is bloody genius. She would be 4 and 5 of us put together. Like, her mind is just phenomenal. But the point is, that one kid can plant one tree and start a whole life
movement.
force, whole movement on planet Earth, and we can regreen the earth, and to be honest, I work with a lot of young people around the world, helping them to kickstart climate action projects, only because of my get off the bench, my principles and that sort of stuff. How do we do it? But to be honest, I'm not a climate change expert, and I wish I was. Like, I really wish I had a deeper knowledge, deeper understanding. And people can listen to this and go, well, if that's what you wish, go do it. Go and learn about it. But there's only, when you get to my age and you're running low on batteries, it's kind of like there's only so
you've lots of energy and you're yourself.
No, I'm actually really noticing it. I'm not going to be a whinger, but I am in my 60s, and my bloody thyroid is absolutely and I'm exhausted all the time. But and I wish my batteries. I look at people and I think,
You'd never think it. You'd never think it. You have so much energy. And you know what, Karen, I would say as well that your energy is so contagious. And like, even like, and you might say that about yourself. And this is the thing we tend to do about ourselves. And I'm not a climate change expert. What you've done is, and what you do all the time is, you've got expertise in your own area, and you enable, and you give this platform for other people to be able to share all their knowledge on that. So you're doing incredible work. So really, and the impact you're making at the scale and at the rate of what you're doing is, like, for everybody that listens to you, and any story that gets out there that's inspiring change is a phenomenal thing to do. So, and I think that's the thing, I think that we all tend to do that and say that, but I'm not at this, I'm not at that, but you are. And it's just
I get it. I do get it. I don't underestimate my value. I really don't. But I just have this kind of I just want to do more. I just want to do more. I just want to.
I know. I'm the same. I know, absolutely. That's it. And just there's so much to be done, and you just want to do more. But sometimes you feel, oh God, how can you? Like, it is, this. You need to clone yourself.
I know, and that's just it. It's kind of like when I was talking about the homeschooling, and I want to do that, and I want to do more on climate change, and I want to do more on this, and another thing I want to do is I'd love to, and this would take millions. But anyway, it's not the money that's stopping me. It's the just I just freaking don't have the energy. But I would love to have like 100 acres or 200 acres, and that's not impossible either. But build a nursing home on it. So when there's all these old people who they have to
Yes.
move into a nursing home. I mean, but they've got pets. They've got cats and dogs and even
Yes.
horses and a couple of sheep and I
I love
reckon.
it.
How
Mm,
fantastic. And then they've got to give them up, and I've heard so many stories about
mm,
people going into a nursing home and they've got this beloved old horse and their family says, I'll take care of it. And then they sell it to the knackery and and so I've heard
oh,
so many stories like that. And that breaks my heart. And I
oh,
think if only
me
I had
too.
if I always buy a Tats Lotto ticket, and it's if ever I win me millions, that's what I am going to do because
Yes.
I won't have the
Love it.
time or energy to run it, but I'll be able to pay
Yeah.
someone to run it. And
Yes. Yeah.
imagine that they can imagine that they have like I always think that they have a room and then they have a yard. So if they have a dog or a cat, they've got their own individual yard for their little dog or their cat, or
Yes.
big dog. But there's also
Yeah.
100 acres or 200 acres, and they go out every day and they see their horse or they see their sheep, they see their goats. Can you imagine what kind of a
Wow.
nursing home that would be? That would,
Wow. Oh my God. I have goose pimples thinking of it. That like and the thing is what's really sad as well is that, so many people work all their lives and and they have their homes and they have their, they have their that they have like, but they have to go into say nursing home and it come to that stage where and I think that it can be such a, a lonely experience and family and all that comes with that, having to give up so much and moving in because they can't, they haven't got the same mobility to even to get around or whatever. But to have, yeah, it could be just life changing for them to have their pets. And like we know we're both pet lovers,
yeah.
and I have, you have 3 dogs and I've got the one, and it's like my baby, and I couldn't imagine being parted. And when you say that, it's just like I'm sure that anybody listening to that would think this is a bloody great idea. Absolutely, why can't we do that? And I think that, it would be so amazing to even start something like that, just to see how that could be yet again inspiring other people to do the same. Because so many people have worked all their lives, have got their homes, and they have the money, and they would do that. They would love to have a facility like that, So,
Well,
but for
if
those who don't even like, maybe there's some, yeah. Anyway, that's another idea. That's for another call.
anyone's listening and they want to steal my
Yeah,
idea and go build a
go
nursing home,
ahead.
go
Yeah,
ahead. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. I don't need to claim it. It's not about me getting the recognition for it.
yeah,
All I want is these pets and owners to
yeah,
stay together.
yeah.
And I want that when people are in nursing homes, not to be sad, but to be happy. Because
I
at
know.
life,
I
that's
know.
what they should have. So if anyone's listening to this and they got millions and they're thinking, I don't know what to do with me millions, go build a nursing home, buddy. Animal yards and please do it and
Oh,
come
brilliant.
and talk to
Yeah,
me and I'll give you all my ideas and we'll get it done.
love it.
So I would love it.
Love
I
it.
keep buying Tats Lotto tickets, hoping that I just win the millions so I can set.
Well,
But
I love that, Karen. I love that because, like, there you go. That's just, that's it. Could you imagine, like, like
yeah,
that's just about giving, and that's about, it's about love and kindness, and the difference that makes.
yeah,
It's just, huge. And I think there's so many great things that can be done out there, and great ideas, but they're all like, these are the things. It's they're so impactful.
I know.
And it's all coming from a good place. I think if there's more women in leadership roles and there was more women that could actually, I think that, recently I just heard, like, I was at an event, I was just saying, and 2% of women and founders actually only get funding for their startups.
Wow.
2%. That's
Wow.
how far away from,
Yeah.
equality we are when it looks,
Yeah.
when we look at so many women trying to get their business ideas and their businesses out there. They don't get the same,
No
they
support.
don't get
Yeah.
the same support, and
Yeah.
it's really kind of shocking. But we've got all the ideas of how we impact the world, and I suppose our money would go further because we're very, our money would go further in regards to what we do, and also the impact that we can make as well.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's it. I suppose anybody out there as well listening in that wants to help me build a school in Ireland, yeah, bring it on. But yeah, so I think that there's so much that can be done, and I think that, with, I suppose with the NUA, it's all about, we're just creating lots of different opportunities for young people to get involved with projects. And as I said before, I mentioned before, the impact that that could make connecting the Western world of children with developing countries, that whole trail of impact, if we actually have projects that are actually having a ripple of an impact in another country. There's
Yeah.
a lot of projects that we have that we're actually looking to really get off the ground,
Yeah.
and lots of different things you want to highlight on various different topics and things like that, on things like menstrual poverty, and there's lots of different things we're looking at doing, but there is so much that we can do,
Yeah.
but it's just really about all pulling together, and it's really been great to have the opportunity to talk to you, and anybody who wants to look into Aunua Global and find out the work we're doing, and reach out, and it's been, yeah, it's I don't know, it's just been amazing opportunity to talk to you, but yes, go ahead.
No, it's been great talking to you too. But I want, before you go though, I
Yeah.
want to hear about the give one gift one. It's an online teaching platform or something like, to explain.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So recently we've just launched, because for a long time with a lot of the projects we're doing, everything else, we really felt we had to monetize everything. So we've got a new enterprise now, which we've just launched, and this is a way that we're going to be able to help provide. I suppose there's a lot of companies out there, and they are, they're probably their ESG goals, and they have their, their CSR, so their environment, they're looking at, what ways that they can get involved with projects that are going to help position them in a good light. And that's what we're here to do with the new enterprise, is help align corporates and brands with youth and impact initiatives. So one of the projects we have is Give One, Gift One. And this is where anybody that has so many people, there's two different aspects. There's one on the Aunua Global and one Aunua Enterprise. So it's basically with the Aunua Enterprise, it's about so many people out there have got amazing courses. They have created courses and they've got great content, but they're finding it very difficult probably how to market those courses and to get them out there. So what we want to do is, and we're going to start the campaign, the outreach on this now to build this up, but we're looking to bring on board a lot of people that have these courses onto our platform, where now we'll actually help bring them into an ecosystem, and we'll be able to help support them to sell those courses through various different ways. And also give them opportunities to be involved in conferences and events and speaking, and be able to talk about their courses. But this whole opportunity will mean that their course now, for every course that they sell through Aunua Enterprise, one will go back out is a scholarship program to a disadvantaged young person. So it's a scholarship. And then what it means is that not only are you selling your course, and you're getting support to do that, and you're getting, you're also supporting another young person that wouldn't have the opportunity. So now they have a certificate in that, and they can actually start creating those leadership that leadership role, and that course can actually become great content to be able to help, being able to use that content as perhaps like we're connected with a lot of groups in Africa, say, or India, where in Africa, say, a young person now has got, a certification on, say, leadership skills, or in various, whatever that might be. But that would be phenomenal for them to be able to have that. So that's what that's about. And then also, we're also building out the Aunua Youth Academy in the Metaverse of Impact. And this is really exciting. We've got the Impactiverse, and I'm working with incredible Impactiverse, which is phenomenal. It's amazing world. Nolene Maripans is has this whole incredible organization. I work closely with her. She's and we're basically building out the Youth Academy, and it's all about really, I suppose, there's a learning pathway in this whole environment, which is a virtual world experience. You can create your avatar and come into this exciting, fun environment where you can actually learn about the world with the world, and learn and come join events and have workshops and learn, like, for instance, Prasidi learning about climate change, from herself, her avatar and her films and the work and what she's doing. Then other young people will be able to come in and they'll be able to volunteer or be able to share their projects or, participate in anything. Like we're going to be working on TV shows,
Wow.
magazines,
Wow.
creating impact portfolios. So much can be done in this whole environment, in this whole space. And it's
Mm,
one that, will provide a different way for young people to learn about the global goals, the
mm,
17 global goals, and be able to identify with projects that are, aligned with what their values are, whether
mm.
that's, no poverty, or, might be quality education, or, climate change, or the sea world. The sea world is also, an amazing
Yeah.
environment for young people to be able to learn about the ocean and about projects that they could actually jump on board with. If they decide then, okay, actually I've learned about this project and I can actually go and do a cleanup in my local beach
Mm,
and,
mm.
basically go back and share the impact I've made. And now they've got, they can be part of, maybe a magazine that we've done before. We did 13-year-old editor do a magazine with us, Unite. And it's about, kids around the world that are doing something impactful, sharing their
Yeah. Yeah.
work, and giving them all a place to come, because like every child has got a unique gift of their own,
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
that's, they tell a story, they paint a picture, they write a song, they sing, dance, perform. Those creative gifts, those natural authentic gifts that children have, we need
Yeah.
to really encourage that. And I suppose what we need to do is, I suppose, with the Impactiverse, it's going to provide a platform and a way for young people to be able to really engage and have an experience, but really coming back out of that, because we don't want to see kids on these screens all the time. We want them
Yeah.
to learn through the screen, and
Yeah.
then to be able to get something from it and bring it back into their homes, their schools, their
Mm.
communities. And
Yeah.
you talked about nursing homes, really love that as well. I think there's so much that we could do as engaging kids and young people in projects that are meaningful, and
Yeah.
learning and giving them something like one of the kindfulness projects, which we have. It's about painting stones or planting trees in a nursing home,
Yeah.
and the impact that can make, and being able to showcase the projects that they've done, and they've done in a classroom, or they've done stuff for their local community or their nursing home or whatever they've done.
Mm.
I think, that's what we'll be able to do with this whole metaverse
Wow.
experience. And there's so much more. We're looking to do TV shows with kids, really getting their stories together, and being able to, provide them with the opportunity to, we'll edit them and put them on, or they might have
Yeah.
podcast blogs, anything that can help share their story. So there's lots of things. So there's lots going to be, we're just really kind of working on
Yeah.
some campaigns at the moment, so there'll be a lot more noise we'll be making now soon
Wow.
out there.
So you're
Yeah.
exhausting me already. Fantastic.
I know. It's all in a day's work.
Yeah. No, this is really
Oh,
fantastic. I'm so pleased, so thrilled that we got to chat, have this chat. And
me
the work you're
too.
doing is absolutely phenomenal. It's like I said at the very start, you're doing that much, I can't even keep up with it. There's that much going on, but it's all at the end of the day, regardless of the fact that there's that much going on, it's all going in the same direction for the same goodwill, for the same impact and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that you stood in your kitchen that day and went, what is it that I
Yeah.
want to do? Because like, and you might be the same as me at times. You think, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm doing enough, that sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
you could have, and I could have, but you could have uh, stood in your kitchen and said, I need to go back to work, and gone back and just done a part-time job, not really believing in yourself, forgetting the skills that you had. Do you know what I mean? And
I
I
do.
had
Yeah.
Andre Ruiz on my podcast just now, and he was telling me about Les Brown, the motivational speaker,
Oh,
and
yeah.
telling me that one of the things that he says is that some people leave this world without a trace. And that, when he told me that, that hit me so deep,
Yeah.
it's not that I think, not that I feel sorry for people for being nobodies. What I feel is that people don't realize how impactful and how brilliant they are. Do you know that
Yes,
they don't realize
totally.
that they can leave it. They did
Yeah.
leave the world better. It's
Yeah, totally. I totally, that's exactly it. And I know so many people are so trapped, they feel trapped in a system that
mm,
doesn't allow them. I think we often hear stories about people that things happen. Like, so somebody might have had an accident or a loss to somebody they love, or
mm,
something might have happened that's drastic, lost something big. But, really, those are sometimes in life the most hardest things that happen in our
mm,
lives, really are, the reasons why we need to rebuild and reinvent ourselves. And I think that everybody's got the capability of doing something
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
And, whether that's something small and, impactful on a small scale
yeah,
or big scale, whatever your capabilities are, there's something in all of us. But just if you could go through your life knowing that you've
mm,
done something good for somebody else, for one person, or
yeah,
for whatever you can do. I think that there's so much that, we don't think we can do, but the capabilities of what we can do are phenomenal. I never in a million years would have thought that I would have been able to do what I've been able to do.
yeah,
Now don't get me wrong, there has been, a lot of ups and downs and everything
yeah,
else, but I wouldn't change a bit of it.
yeah,
And I was just going to say one thing about my 12-year-old son put things into perspective for me yesterday when we had a little heart to heart. And he's so intuitive. He's such an incredible little kid. But Mom, he's had a really rough time with a teacher over the past year, and he's
yeah,
a very strict teacher. And he's always said, "Oh, I really, hate my teacher and all this. He doesn't like his teacher, and he's really strict." And that. But he said, "I'm actually glad I had that teacher for this year because I've learned a lot." He said, and he says, "I've learned how to communicate better with adults." He said, "I'm
wow,
not as shy. I'm able to talk better. I'm able to, I feel more confident now in myself,
yeah,
and I'm able to talk better to people." And he says, "And I wouldn't have had that. So I'm actually grateful. I'm glad I had him now." And he
yeah,
says, "Well, I didn't see it until now." And he's nearly finished in school for the summer,
yeah,
and he's going to have he's going to secondary school. But isn't it quite amazing how, and I said, absolutely, this is
yeah,
such an invaluable lesson
yeah,
that, in life, the good and the bad and the people, all the different people we meet in our lives will teach us something.
yeah, yeah,
The good, bad, and the bad experiences, we all have something to learn. So we're all teachers. We
yeah,
all are teachers out there. We all got so much to teach and to learn
yeah, yeah.
and it's just constant cycle of, but there you go. A 12-year-old, that's my
Well, I
message.
love it.
That really, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so very much for joining us. Where can people find you? Because it's the stuff you're doing is utterly intriguing, and I want people to go and have a look and
Oh.
follow you and support if they can and whatever. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure to be here with you. You're such a darling. I love being here. You've made it so much fun, which is great, which is so important. Okay, so anuaglobal.org is where you'll find us, and that's AUNUA global.org.
yeah,
And I'm sure we'll put in some links somewhere, but
yeah,
it
I
would be
will.
really great to get have everybody. As I said, Anua, this is really, as I said before, it's a movement for change. It's about a new world. And if Anua can play a part and create something that's new, or if you learn something new
Mm,
from it, I think that, I just really, would love to see people join us and be part of the journey and see where things go. And if, I think there's going to be exciting things to come. So
yeah.
yeah, please join us, and thank you again.
Thank you for joining me. It was absolutely fantastic. It's always hard getting people from the UK, but because of the time difference, but I'm glad we've done this because
Yeah, me
yeah, so
too.
I'm looking forward to us staying in touch too and seeing what we
Me
can
too.
together into the future because we're on the same
Absolutely.
page and it matters. So
We are. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to hold you to that now. Yeah.
good,
We'll set
I'm getting
something up
old.
together. No, no, no. You're never too old. No, not at all.
Yes, absolutely
Absolutely
hold
not.
me to it. I can't wait. Really.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Corinne. Thank you, darling. Okay, I
My
will talk to
pleasure.
you real soon.
Yes, we
Goodbye,
will.
everybody.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
Ta-da.